Achieving is no longer a solitary pursuit, but a shared experience, fueled by a collective desire to find more meaning in our work.
To truly do great work, we need people that have different experiences and understand the world from a different perspective.
Today, we're more connected than ever. If we harness our collective energy and embrace our diversity, there's no limit to what we can achieve.
We have associates across the world working different shifts, different times, even in different languages, and Teams allows them to all connect and collaborate pretty effortlessly.
We believe technology can do this through intelligence that enhances the amazing things we're capable of, giving us the mobility to achieve wherever we are. By building trust so that teams can focus on what matters. And by reinventing how we collaborate to serve the uniqueness of each group.
With the move to Teams, we're starting to move into that area of the unquantifiable benefit because we're drawing things together in one location.
A communication tool has to scale with all of that in every region across the globe. Microsoft is right in the middle of that.
So we can empower every team to achieve more.
Thank you so much for attending the What's New in Teams session today. That video gives me chills because we really do truly believe that we can empower each and every person and each and every team to achieve more. Today we're going to show you a lot of things. We have a demo for you, a demo for you, and a demo for you. So we hope you're going to have a little bit of fun today and learn a lot. And if you don't already believe in that mission that I just stated today, we hope that we can convince you over the next few moments about why and how. Before we get into all of that great stuff, we want to talk about how we all got here in the first place. And that's to do with the...
Nice.
I told you we were going to have a lot of fun, right? So the changing modern workplace today. So how many of you are actually tweeting right now? A lot of you. So social tools have become a part of our day-to-day. How many of you have your mobile phone out in your hands right now? I see almost everybody. The mobile phone is a game changer for how we work today. And of course, we're getting more and more diverse, especially even at Microsoft. Mark and I both work in Microsoft Teams, but we're incredibly diverse and very different. Mark works in engineering, I work in marketing. I can actually ship marketing plans on time. And by 2020, we're actually seeing a lot of people work more and more remotely, and that makes face-to-face challenges, or face-to-face meetings, excuse me, much more challenging. And so we need a solution that solves all that. And we need a solution that helps us collaborate more, because many of us are working more and more in teams. Workers are reporting that 80% of teams or people are actually working and collaborating together in meetings and in calling. And for most of us, that probably feels more like 100%. And so we built Microsoft Teams in response to these changing modern trends. And Microsoft Teams started off as a chat-based workspace, but it has evolved into something much more. With the integration and innovations from meetings and calling and files and sharing and customization, it's really truly become the one single place, that hub for teamwork. Now, I may not have to tell you all of that. Yesterday, we announced that Teams is the fastest growing Microsoft app in history. Because of you, we've had such great success. Over 329,000 organizations using Teams, 87 of the top Fortune 100 companies using Teams, 44 languages are supported in Teams, and this number has already even updated to over 60 customers with more than 10,000 active users in Teams. And this is all across multiple industries. So thank you. We just want to take a moment to say thank you, guys. Thanks to those that have been on this journey with us from the beginning. Thanks to those that have started using Teams just recently. Your feedback, your passion, your excitement is what's helped us deliver on these innovations over the past year and what pushes us to keep creating more. Now let's do a little humble brag. Here we were a year ago, and we've delivered a lot of features in the past year. From guest access for external users to direct routing for calling, cloud recording, inline message translation. These are just a couple of the highlights that we've delivered over the past year, and there's still a lot more to come, and we will show you some of those over the next few moments. We don't do this very often, but last year we made a bold statement that Microsoft Teams will eventually become the single client, eventually replacing Skype for Business. Well, there is no need to wait. Microsoft Teams is ready now. We have delivered the Skype for Business online features into Microsoft Teams, and so new customers should not wait and should just jump straight into Microsoft Teams. For existing customers, we have resources available for you through Fast Track to help you plan those upgrades. And if you're among one of those customers that have not yet tried out Teams, we've made it even easier for you to take advantage by a free version of Microsoft Teams that we announced a few months ago. Now, even without Office 365, you can try an introductory experience for Microsoft Teams. Now let's look under the hood a little bit for what makes Teams even more powerful. The Microsoft Graph is comprised of signals across Bing, Office 365, and Windows, just to name a few. These billions of data points are what helps get those insights and surface valuable information so that we can bring intelligence into the Microsoft ecosystem. That, along with harnessing the power of Microsoft AI, we want to bring Microsoft Teams as an intelligent hub, as well as our collaboration and communication hub for teamwork. Our vision is to infuse this intelligence with Microsoft Teams so that we can make it even more powerful and that you have the intelligence in your daily meetings, your daily calls, and your daily chats. So in a short moment, I will invite Mark to come and demo a lot of things for you today, and starting with some of the foundational work we've done in collaboration, and that includes in your chats and your channels and the file sharing that you've done. And also in our communication space. You can communicate in your chats privately or in an open space. We also now provide a complete telephony solution for you, as well as a complete meeting solution that includes audio conferencing, video conferencing, so you can meet anywhere more intelligently and more confidently. So there are a lot of robust features in there. So Mark, let's take it away.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm Mark. This has been an exciting session already with lights and all sorts of things going on. So let's get started with some demos, like what could go wrong, right? So we have a lot of demos to show. So I work on the Microsoft Teams team. I've been working on Teams for about 2 years, so even before we launched. And it's been a fantastic ride. Like, we have built so much into the product, and I love using the product every day. We use it every day basically to build out teams and to communicate amongst our own team, which is quite sizable now. Like, there's a lot of people in Microsoft Teams working on this. And it's just made me more connected and more in sync with everybody that I work with. So I can talk about it all day, or I can show you how it all works. And I'll kind of explain to you, like, what are the features that I really like and what do I do throughout the day as I work with teams. So they told me this might happen. So here we go. So cool. So when I get up in the morning, I don't reach for Outlook anymore. I used to use email, but actually I check it about maybe 3 times a week now. That's about it. I do almost everything in Microsoft Teams. I look at activity first, and this is really where I get an overview of everything that's happened while I was asleep. We work with teams that are spread all over the world. We have a whole bunch in the United States. We obviously have a whole bunch in China and in India and in Israel. And while I'm asleep, things are going on. Activity gives me the full list of everything that's occurred when it's been going. So if I posted something and somebody replied to it or responded to it, I can just pick it up right here and see what's going on, even if I missed a call, for example. Chats, this is really all where I do all my personal communications. So this is, for me, has replaced a lot of email in my case. So all my one-on-one chats, all my one-on-one communications are here, and also my group chats. So if I have something I want to talk about with a group of people, I come to chat. In Teams, this is where all the teamwork really happens. And so a team is a collection of people that are working in a particular project area, right? So the whole Microsoft Teams team, for example, is in one giant team. And underneath that are different channels. And a channel is a topic. It's a subject that people are working on. And so they can all collaborate there, they communicate, and they're really able to share sort of all the progress on the work that they're doing. Under meetings, this is everything that's actually going on right now. And as I can see, I have 2 engineering reviews that I'm missing. And I can take a sort of a glance at my day ahead. So I can kind of prepare myself for what's to come. And then on calls, this is all my calls that are coming that I've either made or have received. And I can also go in and check my voicemail. So it's all delivered here. The key thing about calls that's worth just pausing on for a second is that this is my work number. So for many of you that give out your personal phone number to your clients, like I don't know whether you like receiving calls on the weekend. I certainly don't, not for my clients. So what I typically do is I give them my work phone number. With Microsoft Teams, you can take that work phone number, connect it into Teams, and now you can receive all your work calls right on your desktop or on your mobile device. And you can place your calls from your mobile device too. So it's like having 2 phone numbers on your own personal device, which is super useful, right? Especially if you're out and about and you have lots of clients that you're interacting with. There's one more thing that I want to show you. So there was this chat here with Grady, and so he was congratulating me on some work that we had done and saying hello. I can react to this. So all I do is I just press down on this particular message, and normally I would just be able to thumb up. Well, a feature that we're bringing out is a more expressive set of reactions. So I can not only be enthusiastic about it, but I can love this particular post, which is great. It just adds a little bit more flavor and sort of dynamic aspects to what's going on. The other thing that I can do is I can respond to his message about this business card. So Microsoft Teams has obviously a built-in camera. We can go ahead and take a photo. I have the card up here, as it turns out. That was convenient. And I can go ahead and flip through a bunch of different filters. So one of the filters that we have is business card. What we wanted to do was we're really thinking mobile first about Teams, right? We're really serious about trying to develop a product that everybody can use on the go. And so one of the common tasks that occurs is people taking pictures of documents or whiteboards. So we built in these filters. So for example, I can just snap this picture of this card, and it will automatically find the edges of it, crop it, and then show it to me, right? And adjust all the contrast and brightness to make sure that it's legible, which is a pretty cool feature, right? Like it saves me a bunch of effort and a bunch of time. We've also added annotation, which was a big ask from our healthcare providers and other people, so that we can go in and ink on top of this and indicate a certain area of the picture that we've taken. So I can go ahead and send that out, and now he's going to go get the picture. Cool. So that's what's going on mobile. Microsoft Teams Mobile is probably one of the best mobile apps that I think Microsoft has ever shipped. It's just really, really well put together, and the team has really thought in depth about the scenarios. When I get into work, I shift over to my laptop. So let me sign in here really quick and switch it over. So as you can see, that particular card already showed up. This was the chat that I was having with Grady. And it's organized in a very similar way as my phone. So I have all of my different apps that are located down the side. Chat, Teams, meetings, everything's right there. And chat, to me, since I'm the GPM of messaging, this is an area that's super passionate about. I really love chat. And a lot of our customers do too, but some of our developers were kind of complaining about our support for code snippets this last year. And they really wanted to see a better support for sharing blocks of code. So we implemented a feature called code snippets, ironically. And so let me show you how that works. So here I have a whole block of code that I copied somewhere that one of our engineers gave us, because honestly, I'm not writing it. And what I can do is go ahead and paste it right into a message. And as you saw, there wasn't much formatting there, But now it just kind of sets it all up. It's monotype, it's nice, inserted line numbers. It's a pretty nice thing. We've also gone ahead and added in highlighting so that you can see all the different elements get highlighted based on the language that it is. So I can go ahead and send this to Grady. He's going to be like super confused about what's going on. And I can even expand it in line. And so I don't have to scroll through that tiny little window. I can actually see the whole code block right here. So we think that this is a much improved experience. We launched this a couple months ago. We've seen some really good traction so far and people picking it up and using it. And we're looking forward to more feedback to make it even better. The other feature that I really wanted to talk about was screen sharing. So we received a lot of feedback also that people didn't want to have to hop onto a call to share their screen with others. So if I'm in chat and I'm working really quickly and I have a quick question about something that I'm working on, I can go ahead and share my screen just by clicking on this button up here. This gives me instant access to sharing my desktop or any application that I have running. And this is great if you're working on something, you have to share it, show it to a colleague, or let's say you have an IT problem and you just want to share your desktop and show them what's happening. So it's really nice and it's super convenient. Let's talk about teams and channels. So as I mentioned, teams and channels are really collections of people that are working on a topic together. And like an example might be in engineering, this is a channel that's dedicated to all the engineers working on this Smart Gate project. Well, you're going to find the things that you would expect in an engineering channel, right? It's like where the meat and potatoes of the company are. It's really where people do a lot of hardcore work, and where you get things like bugs, code reviews, things like that. You could also look at marketing, for example, and find examples of things that they work on, like happy hour, which we know that they tend to just do meetings and happy hour, and that's pretty much about it, right, Angela? Yes, yeah, that's what I thought. So that's pretty fun. One of the things, too, is that every one of these workspaces, a channel, is a customizable area. So a lot of teams have specialized tools or they have apps that they prefer. And we want to create a surface and an environment where everybody can collaborate with the tools that are most familiar and comfortable for them. So, for example, I can click on Mark 8 branding here, and the marketing team tends to use Trello to manage all their tasks. So they can go ahead and just grab these tasks and interact with it and bring the application right in line into Teams. So all the tools that you need are right there. We also have some built-in ones. So Power BI, for example, is all connected. So if they're monitoring real live metrics and they want to track them, they can pull them up in the dashboard and show them as well. We also have integration with files. So for example, if they had done some marketing feedback and marketing research and they wanted to get the word out to the whole channel, they can go ahead and pin that right there as well. And now everybody can see it and access it and use it. So those are some of the apps. We have many, many other apps. So for example, there's a whole app store, and we've been working for the last 2 years to beef this up, but there's a lot of stores in here or applications in here that you can install. So if you have tools that you're using or you have your own line of business tools that you want to integrate into Teams, it's a platform. You can do that, and you can extend it and make it really your own. So let's take a look at some of these threads. Let's jump back into that marketing conversation, and I bet you we can find some real work that's happened. Here it is. Yeah, so they scheduled some interviews, which are coming up, and this is a pretty long post. So one of the things that we heard from our visually impaired users is that it's really hard to read long posts. It's tough to see it. It's difficult. There's a lot of information. It's very dense. So we built out a feature for them, and then we extended it for education. And let me show you a little bit how that works. It's called the Immersive Reader. So the Immersive Reader takes the message and expands it edge to edge within the screen, because we want everybody to be able to collaborate and communicate. And what I can do with this is I can go ahead and tap on it.
Interview scheduled for next
reading.
week. Exciting news, everyone.
Which is a great feature if you obviously have trouble seeing the screen. This is a fantastic feature. It lets you really stay in touch with what's going on. For on the education side, we heard that for kids that are in school, for example, and we have a lot of users that are kids. My daughter, in fact, is in high school and she uses Microsoft Teams. But for some of these kids, they have trouble with attention. They have attention deficit disorder and they get distracted by things. So Immersive Reader is really helpful because they see the whole view. They can also narrow the focus even further and just kind of follow the text as it goes. And for kids that are just learning English for the first time, We also have basically a visual dictionary built in. So, for example, they can click on it, and now they can see the picture. Is that awesome? That's right. Yeah, I mean, this is why this team is so awesome. Like, we work and we think about these scenarios so deeply. We just really want everybody to have a great experience. I love the immersive reader. I think it's a great addition. So I also, in this thread, which is right here, I included a file. So she had asked me for a bunch of different content. I have a file. I can go ahead and click on that file. What happens is that we load it inline. So we have an inline preview. That includes basically all the animations that are built into the slide deck as well. So I can get a sense and just rapidly jump into it and jump out of it if I'm in the process of collaborating and I want to see what was in that document. If I need to, I can also just click on Edit, and that'll load it up in Frame and allow me to edit it right here in line. So I don't even have to leave and boot up another application or download the file. I can just do it right here. If I want to, I can always just jump out into the full PowerPoint version as well and go edit it there. Of course, Microsoft Teams and every single team in Microsoft Teams is backed by a SharePoint site. And that's super important, right? Because you want all that information to be secure and compliant and backed up and really, to be safe. So every single file here that is uploaded into this particular channel and this particular team ends up in the SharePoint site. And so earlier, yesterday, I believe, we made some announcements about how SharePoint is being integrated even closer with Microsoft Teams. This surface isn't a SharePoint surface yet, but it will be soon. And you'll be able to see all of your file views with all of your custom views that you've created in SharePoint surface right here. So if you've built in things like business processes and other things that you want to highlight or business information in those views, that will all get echoed through, which is a huge improvement. It'll really allow you to blend your business practices right into Teams. Finally, there's another feature that I really love, actually, that's built into engineering. So that's built into Teams. So, for example, I have a whole thread here, and some of it is written in different languages, as you can see. So people have been going back and forth, and some people have used languages that they're most familiar with and comfortable with. I don't speak Chinese, but the immersive reader doesn't speak Chinese either. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I've never tried that. But Microsoft Teams can actually translate the text for me. So the advantage to this is that everybody can communicate in the way that they're most familiar. If English is your second language and you're having trouble sort of getting your points across, you can compose it in your native tongue. And people can still see what you were meant to say, which is a great way for people to be able to communicate no matter where they are in the world. I think it's wonderful. It brings people together. It's a good thing. The last point that I want to do is, have you ever worked in a company where you need the answer to a question, but you don't know who to talk to? Well, with Microsoft Teams, we have all this information about what people are talking about in the channels that you're members of. And so we have this great search bar at the top that's loaded up with capabilities. And one of the capabilities is who. So I can ask it questions like, who knows about FA? And what this will do is this will go and look at all of the messages that I have, and it'll go retrieve a set of people that know about that particular topic. It'll look for instances of FAA throughout all the messages, and it'll give me sort of a summary view of, like, who is the person that I want to go talk to? Well, Lynn here has 6 posts, so I probably go talk to her. So that's a pretty powerful way of being able to quickly find the right people in your organization and connect with them, and saves you a ton of time and just accelerates your productivity. So let's switch over to meetings, because meetings is really sort of the lifeblood of a lot of organizations. And there's lots of different ways of scheduling meetings in Teams. And I think what I want to do is just sort of calm everybody's fear about meetings and let them know that they can still do it in the way that they're most comfortable with in Outlook. It's pretty easy. You just go ahead and you can just do it as you normally would for Skype. You can go ahead and schedule a meeting. And let's see. That's interesting. I don't even have a close book. Ah, there we go. And go ahead and click on Teams meeting. So this inserts all the coordinates for the meeting, and it also allows you to add people from outside of your organization to the meeting too, so you can include them in the to list. This will basically send them an email. They'll receive it. They'll be able to click on it. They can launch the web client, or if they have the desktop client, that'll launch. And they'll join as an anonymous user. So now you can have meetings with anybody out there in the world and just invite them in, and it's no problem. It'll work. We also have a lot of mobile numbers that are supported. So if you are working abroad and you're traveling from country to country and maybe you have really spotty internet connection, that's okay. There are local dial-in numbers that you can go call up in, I think, 90 different countries right now. So you can place a local call and still participate. It's not an issue. Let's go ahead and jump out of meetings for now. And I'll show you a few more things about meetings that I think are really cool. So another feature that we have is the ability to schedule a meeting in the context of a thread. And so what I mean by that is, let's say during this whole thread about interviews, I had said, well, here's a deck, and I wanted to schedule a meeting about that particular review. Well, I can reply to this, and if I just click on the schedule or meet now button, what this does is this creates a sort of a meeting template right here in that thread. So this is great for communicating to people about what the content of the meeting is going to be about. So they have context and they can prepare for it. So I can title this like Mark 8. And if I want, I can go ahead and go into a scheduling mode, and I can actually, let's say, invite somebody. So I'll invite Dell and schedule the meeting. So what this will do is that this will send an email to Adele, and she'll get this on her calendar. But everybody else who's a member of this channel, they'll just see that this meeting has been scheduled, and they'll see what time it's going to start, and they can hop in and join in if they want to. So let's take a look at what the meeting experience will actually look like, or actually looks like. So I can jump into chat, and here I see I actually have an engineering team meeting that's already going on. So why don't we hop into that? So this is our pre-join view, and we've enhanced it slightly, so I can turn on and off my video, obviously, turn on and off my audio. I can also blur my background, which doesn't really show up great here. And we're happy to announce that we have one feature in particular that's really awesome, that's new, which is I can check out my hair and make sure I look really great before I join into the meeting. So that's done. Sweet. Let's see. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hi, Mark.
Whoa.
Hello.
Good. All right, you're going to have to speak a little bit more softly because I think you just blew everybody's eardrums. So, Lorraine, could you do me a favor? Could you blur out your background so we can kind of see what that looks like?
Okay.
So, Lorraine and Shalendra are joining us from Bellevue in Seattle right now. Hey, guys. So, there's a few features here also that we can show, which is recording. So, we're really happy to announce that recording is in GA. Finally, is in GA. Ooh. And sorry, this is the marketing plans. They always ship on time. So this is all being recorded now, and we'll be able to go back and look at it at a later time, which is great. So if people weren't able to join, they can just hop in. We also have some other features. So for example, we've just added meeting notes, and looks like I don't have access to this meeting note right now. Sad face. But this allows you to basically type in notes as you're meeting with individuals. You'll see what the notes are, and they get posted back into the channel. So if you've ever had that person like Bob who was supposed to send the meeting notes but never did, and you keep on waiting for it, well, as long as he originally took the notes right here in the meetings team, that'll show up in your channel, and you'll be able to access them instantly after the meeting's over. Some other features that are worth showing are PowerPoint sharing. So for example, I can share my content. That's awesome. And just open up a presentation right here in line. So this is loading the file into the meeting. And this allows everybody within the meeting to see the content, obviously, and then to be able to move forward and see and jump ahead at their own pace if they want. But one of the really cool features is the fact that I can also join this meeting simultaneously from my phone. So here you see that we have this engineering review. So I've already joined from my desktop. I can join from my phone as well. So I'm going to join really quickly here and see what happens. And so you can see Lorraine show up. and it's loading the slides. So why would I want to do this? Well, what's really cool about this is that I now don't have to be near my laptop anymore. I can be out presenting and trying to be dynamic in front of this audience, and I can flip forward and I can control the entire presentation from my phone, which is great because now I don't need a remote. So I've gotten rid of one other peripheral I have to haul around. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Awesome. Billy's going to show you some more things about meetings in a second, too. So I think that wraps it up for meetings. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. OK. So one more thing. Oh, yeah. I have a couple, one or two more things. Sorry. Thank you, Angela. So one more thing. So the meeting recordings that we talked about a little bit ago. So actually, if I go back to that, let me do this really quick. So I hop back into chat. You'll see that the recording meeting is still going on. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Very good. I was just going to keep going. So here I can hop into marketing, and you'll see that there was, previously there was a meeting that was already scheduled and that was also recorded. So once the meeting is fully done and it's fully recorded, it gets uploaded into Stream, and you can just go ahead and click on it and start replaying it. So this is a different meeting that was recorded.
Hi, Henrietta. Hi, Alex.
One of the cool things about it
we'll go ahead and get started.
Is that you can also go ahead and turn on the closed captions. So if for some reason you can't hear, you can still read what's going on with the meeting.
For joining the kickoff for the Mark 8 Go-to-Market Countdown.
And another cool feature about it is it's also indexed, right? So if I want to search on a particular topic, like say stories, because I'm interested in what the main story is going to be around this launch, I can go ahead and type stories, and it shows me the points in the video where it's been indexed. I can click on it, and it'll just jump right to that point. So I can pick up the meeting from those points on. This is great for people who missed the meeting and need to catch up and are interested in only specific topics. They can go ahead and hop in and go do this. So there's one other type of meeting that was super important that we announced, and this was live events. So live events, to just kind of show you how this gets set up, is I can go into new meetings, create a new meeting, and name it a live event, all right? And so I'm going to say Mark 8 webinar, and add a couple of people. So we'll add Adele, and let's say we'll add, how about Meredith as well. So what this is that I'm creating a live event. This is going to be an event of one person or several people to many. And it will scale up to 10,000 participants. So the idea is that if you're hosting a webinar or you're doing something along those lines and you want to have a built-in sort of experience right here in Teams, you can do that. You can create these meetings, you can host them, you can define who is the producer, who's the presenters, and you can choose who you're going to present to. So it can be internal, it could be to a specific group of people, or it could be public. And you can decide whether you're going to include video on demand afterwards, whether it's going to be recorded, all the different elements that you might need. Now, it's really hard to actually show you a live event live, except maybe for this one. So why don't I switch over and show you sort of what that experience would look like. So this is a view or a capture of sort of what the live event screen would look like. And this is the perspective of the producer. So remember, there are two roles, presenters and producers. The presenters are the ones, obviously, who are presenting, right? And you might have a panel of people that are all talking. The producer's role is to control the video as it's streaming out to the entire audience. And so what's really cool there is that you can basically start tapping on individuals as they're presenting and switch the views back and forth, right? So if you're having a dialogue, you can move the dialogue back from one person to the next person. If they have content that's presenting, you can show the content for a little while and switch it back to the speaker. So it gives you a really dynamic environment to compose these big webinar events, and it's all built right into Teams. So I think part of meetings, though, is that we have a great device experience, and so Angela's going to talk to you about that.
Thanks so much, Mark. We all know that you cannot have a great meeting or a great call with a sucky device. It just doesn't work. How many times have you been on a call with really bad audio or been in a meeting room with really highly educated people, and it took them 12 minutes to figure out how to start a meeting. No, we don't want to clap for that, because we actually have a portfolio of Teams devices that we along with our partners have launched, and these are devices that we want everyone to have and access Teams across all the areas that they work and across all the devices that they use. These are purpose-built. They are co-engineered with our partners, and these devices will have native Teams experiences. Ilya is going to show you a couple of those today, but we want you to use these because they have actually been certified in independent labs for that high quality audio and video, so you have that great experience for every team and every meeting. And we have this over a spectrum of devices, not just one or two. So we have this in the way that you work today, from personal devices like speaker pucks and headsets, all the way up to devices that you would use in your meeting room. So without further ado, I will introduce Ilya Buchstein, who is going to show you a lot of hot new devices we have on stage.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Thank you. So you made it to the last session. Your energy's probably a little low, but this is the session where we're going to give you energy back, because we're going to talk about devices, and devices are cool. But devices also, as Angela and Mark said, make your meetings experiences better. We are here to solve that 12-minute late start problem. I'm also going to pick up off of Mark's theme of what could go wrong. So we've loaded this table up to its maximum weight capacity with devices. We've got mission control down here with about 50 inputs. I'm going to disappear down there every now and then. But we're going to show you a quick tour around some of our new device experiences. And I want to start with one of my favorites, which is room systems. Hopefully, let's try it again. If I get the right control input, there we go. So what you're seeing is the output from one of our newest room systems from HP. This is a system that does not have audio built in, so it's got a console here on a cable, easy to pick up, move around, flip around. Pairs really well with other peripherals, so I've got it here with a Logitech Meetup. This is an awesome pairing for a small room, huddle room, focus room, small room. This is actually going to be one of our standards of Microsoft when we deploy 7,500 of these rooms over the next year. And the cool thing I can do here is just join my meeting. So with one touch, I've joined the meeting, I'm in. This is a Teams meeting. Every Skype room system now can join the Teams meeting, and my friend Greg down here already happened to be in the meeting, and he's sharing his video to show you that this is live. This is all live, real code, actually my account on these devices, so this will be fun. So we're in a Teams meeting. We're showing a real Teams meeting. Now, as Mark showed you, what are the great things about Teams meetings? Well, one of those is that you can go into mobile and join as well. Greg's already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to join off of Teams on my phone, on my iPhone. And now that I'm in, I can actually not just participate, but I can actually start presenting without having my laptop. So I can go ahead and share things like a photo, just for example. So this is a photo that my wife sent me just at the beginning of the show, or of the session, of my son and our little dog. So, okay, that's cool. You saw something. But it's also really useful if there's something you want to share with your remote participants that you're seeing. And so, just like Greg did, I'm going to go ahead and share video. And so now, you should be seeing... Oh, I forgot to hit start presenting. My bad. So now you're seeing a handy-dandy way of showing you all the device screens here. So this is video as content from my phone. So here's the console of the HP room system. And again, I'm going to use this to now show you the rest of the devices that we've got up here. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention, the room system, that's the video preview you're seeing in the corner. This features Logitech's new auto framing. Not going to do much in this room because it's trying to get all of you in the shot. But in a real room, at the beginning of a meeting, and then automatically as people come in and out, it will frame the picture down on the participants. Beautiful for meeting rooms where you have a couple of people and you want to get the best possible video. Okay, let me then show you my laptop here, which is cool. It's cool, it's running Teams. But even cooler is the device it's connected to. This is the Jabra Speak 710 Teams Edition. So many of you know we've got millions of Skype for Business certified devices that are shipping, and all of those will work beautifully with Teams. But at this show, we're actually introducing a new certification, Certified for Microsoft Teams, and it's building on Skype for Business certification, but adding tighter integration with Teams on the device. And so there's a little Teams button that just started flashing because there's a meeting on my calendar that I'm supposed to join, and with just one touch, I can go ahead and go right to the pre-join screen and hit join. That same button will flash whether I have a meeting that I need to join, or if someone leaves me a voicemail. So if my friend Greg here gives me a quick call, this button is really meant to quickly show you that there's something in Teams. Now, all my devices are ringing, of course. Okay. So you can see my button is flashing here again. And if I hit it, it'll show me that I've got missed calls from Greg. Takes me right where I need to be. So these kinds of integrations with Teams are going to come to speaker pucks, headphones, and a wide variety of other certified for Microsoft devices starting in the first quarter of calendar 19. Now, for those of us that like to have permanent devices on our desks, I've got two straight off my desk. So here I've got the Yealink phone. So this is literally my phone off my desk in Redmond. And here I see that Greg called me. I missed the call. I can call him back with one touch. This is actually running the Teams application on this Android phone. So everything I need in Teams for calling, meetings, I keep this right on my meeting schedule all the time at the side of my desk, so I can join meetings very quickly, even if I'm doing something else on my PC. Now here is a similar idea, but for mobile-first workers. So this is the Plantronics Elara. This is a device that turns a mobile phone into a Teams desk phone type device. So not only does it have a wireless charger that can charge phones in either orientation, and it can position the phone perfectly for video meetings, but if it also has the Teams button. And so if I happen to be away from Teams, I just press that, takes me right into Teams. It'll again light up if I have missed voicemail, if I have a meeting about to start. It has a beautiful built-in speakerphone, and it comes with either a headset or a handset module. So this is really great for mobile-first workers. You know, you have to have somewhere to put down your phone and charge it. This does so much more than that. The last thing I wanted to show that we just announced is the very first fully wireless earbuds certified to our, okay, let me try again. I'll join the meeting. So these are the very first earbuds certified to our standards. This is the Jabra 65T. I'll show them to you in one sec. Come on. There we go. Jabra 65T come in this very small battery carrying case, and they are fully wireless. And I will tell you, I've tried these, I've tried the AirPods, I think I've got about 7 different kinds in my bag, and these are by far the best audio quality. Tested by our independent labs to get our certification. First fully wireless earbuds that actually made that certification. So this is just a small sample of our devices. We've got a full portfolio. We have more partners than ever. A year ago, we had one partner delivering Skype room systems. Today, we've got 6 partners delivering Skype room systems. At the show, we're announcing that Crestron and Yealink are both full portfolio partners, delivering phones, peripherals, and room systems. For those of you that want to deal with just one vendor, we've got the 3 best conference rooms in the world. For those rooms where you just want audio, now running Teams. We have Teams phones. We have this new set of Teams peripherals. It really is the most complete portfolio of devices in the world, and the only one optimized to bring that Teams calling and meeting experience everywhere you want to be. And how do you find the right device for you? Well, along with announcing the certification program, we also announced a new marketplace for certified devices, Office.com Teams devices. I invite you to go up there. We're going to be enhancing it a lot in the coming weeks. Today, you can search by device category. Very soon, you'll be able to search by space and get the best devices recommended for exactly what you're looking for. And if you happen to be buying something for yourself, you can actually click buy and buy the device as well, right off that same site. So this is a very short tour. We have, Angela and I, a full session tomorrow at 2:15, just down the hall, all about devices. I invite you to come there, and without giving too much away, I'll say no one should leave that session empty-handed. I look forward to seeing everyone there tomorrow. Thank you.
Wow. So everybody loves free stuff. That's the lesson. So I want to take you through our calling experience as well. So you've seen this great lineup of different devices. Some are meetings. We covered those. What about calling? Well, Microsoft Teams has a whole calling capability built right in as well. And that works for VoIP, but if you have PSTN tied in, then your entire phone will work right here in Microsoft Teams too. So as I mentioned, your business phone will come here. So we have contacts that are available, and I can organize all my contacts right here for like single-click dialing. I have a history, so I can see all the incoming calls and outgoing calls, and again, voicemail. And if I click on voicemail, I also see the transcript for the voicemail. So if I happen to miss a call during a meeting, I can pick it up and see what's going on and chat back if I need to. But enterprise calling is a lot deeper than just that. And so we've been working really hard to basically get you a whole set of new features built right into Teams that are appropriate for the enterprise. It's much more than dial tone. So we have delegation, for example. So if you have admins and executives, you want the admins to be able to pick up the phone for the executives and then to be able to consult with that person and forward the call if that's required. So all those types of capabilities about transfer, consultative transfer, that's just part of the Teams platform. We also have privacy. So if you're in the middle of a presentation and you don't want to be bothered, well, of course, do not disturb will kick in. But you can also manage priority access. So if you do have certain people that you want to be able to get through to you, like maybe in my case, that might be my boss, for example. So I can put him in there, and now even when I'm presenting, the call will ring through, and I'll be able to pick that up. One other feature that I really want to show you, first of all, is devices. So this allows you to configure your setup on your PC, for example, so that you have all your devices configured exactly optimally. So when a call comes in, you pick it up and you're not fumbling trying to make sure that you have the right headset working or something else is going on. So it allows you to answer with confidence. And then we also have a key feature that we released fairly recently, which is group calling. And this is a really powerful way for small teams of people who are working together, let's say a small sales team, to be able to cover for each other. So what I can do with this is I can go ahead and forward my calls to a call group. So let's say I worked with Adele and maybe Christy as well, and we'll say Lee too, why not? So these are people that are in my immediate work group. We share a workload, and I get up and I go away to lunch. They're still in the office. A call comes in. It's a sales call. I'm not there to respond to it. Well, I can set it up now so that all my other colleagues will be rung if I'm away. So it won't just go to voicemail. Somebody will be there to pick it up. And in fact, I can go ahead and make sure that it rings in sequence so that I can have, let's say, my next best salesperson pick that up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great way, a good, solid sort of enterprise workflow to have set up to really make calling shine. So it's powerful stuff. Now that's just the start. We also have a whole bunch of other features that we've lit up. So we have IVRs that are built in. So if you know, those pesky little menus that you listen to where it says press 1 to talk to Bob, those kind of things, those are also set up. They're available through Microsoft Teams too. And you also have call queues that are available too. So if you want to direct all your calls into a call queue and have a bunch of agents pick those up, that'll just all be managed for you as well. Lots more features coming this quarter as well. The roadmap for calling is still underway. So features like Call Park are coming, and there's quite a bit more on the way too. So with that, that rounds up, I think, our demos. So there's a few other additions to Teams that are really important. And being enterprise ready means that you need to be able to deploy these solutions and really manage them well. And we've heard that, boy, it was really tough when you had Skype for Business and you had Microsoft Teams deployed. You had to go through all these different portals. You didn't really know where to go, especially if you're managing calls and call quality, things like that. So we've integrated all the portals into a single sort of modern portal. And this allows you to access and link off to all the different portals that you really need. There's also some other really important additions to this, which is that we've made sure that all the Teams administrative settings are now per user as well as per tenant. So you can really fine-grain tune sort of what permissions or what capabilities you want to give to individuals within your organization. Of course, PowerShell is fully supported, so everybody can go ahead and script to their heart's delight. Another key feature that's coming is data loss prevention. And for a lot of organizations, this is super, super critical, right? They don't want sensitive information to be shared across networks or to be shared with people that they shouldn't be shared with. So what we'll do is we have a DLP solution that's built in, and we have some third parties that we're working with as well to extend it. But this will allow you to do things like look for key patterns in messages, things like credit card numbers or social security numbers, and make sure that if somebody actually typed it in, that the message gets flagged and blocked. And if there's a legitimate business reason to send that information on, that they can still override it, right? Because you will still want the business to work if it has to. Go local. So we've done a lot of work to make sure that we're available all across the world. Right now, the only two geos where Teams isn't available is France and South Korea, but those are coming soon. So we feel really confident that we have a global footprint now, and we're going to continue to be there as Office 365 expands. Federation was a feature that we launched, and there's like one slight little rub to the global presence, which is that we're not available for federated calls or for federation across all geos yet. And there's also one type of federation for presence between Teams and Skype for Business on-prem that isn't currently supported, but that's coming really soon. So we're going to be able to have you covered there, and you're going to be able to call across tenants, which is really great. Retention has been a huge ask as well. So we support today 30-day retention, and that allows you to make sure that if you have any messages that exceed that period of time, they automatically get deleted and removed from the system. We're also rolling out one-day retention here in the next quarter, and what that'll allow you to do is create a variation of like it can be 1 day or up, so as many days as you want. And so if you have some people, let's say a legal group or somebody else that's working with highly sensitive information, you can set their policies in such a way that that information gets wiped clean after a day or 10 days or 5 days or however many days you think is appropriate. VTC interop is a huge thing. So this is the ability basically to use your existing meetings hardware with Microsoft Teams. And so we announced that Polycom is available today. BlueJeans and PEXIP are coming soon. But this is really exciting because a lot of enterprises that were sort of waiting for Teams to work with their existing hardware solutions, they've been asking for this for a long time now. This is going to enable that. And so there will be no blocking or no reason to not roll this out and really take full advantage of all the meetings capabilities that we showed you. We also made a lot of progress on team lifecycle. And what I mean by this is that getting a team up and running and seeing all the features work and everything is great, but like that kind of comes at a cost too, right? So if you're an IT admin, for example, you have to manage all these teams that are being created. Like, how do you do that? So we have tenant templates. So these allow you to create teams in sort of a single click of a button. You can customize it, create all the channels, decide what gets pinned, what are the settings associated with those teams and channels, and just run those as scripts. So that's really made it easy to start rolling out teams and deploy it in a very consistent way across an enterprise. You also now have dynamic team membership. And this, I think, is amazingly cool because it allows you to use sort of AAD dynamic groups and define membership based on those attributes. So for example, if somebody was, let's say, in the marketing team, and they decided to get a really great career and move to engineering, well, what they could do is they could go ahead and they could, when they move and they get a job in engineering, yeah, good luck, and then they, and the IT admin goes ahead and updates all the information in AAD, well, the department will have changed, and so all their memberships will expire in marketing and become active in engineering, and we'll totally welcome them, and we love them. So it's great. Join by code, this is a really simple way. So if you're a team owner, what you can do is you can go ahead and generate a code through your settings in Teams and send that out to a bunch of users. And they can just plug that code in Teams itself and instantly join that team. So it's a really nice organic way of sort of growing a team and spreading it really quickly. If you don't like that anymore, like for some reason maybe the wrong people are getting in or maybe that's outlived its usefulness, maybe there's a time sort of limit based on that team, then you can expire those codes as well or generate new ones and hand them out. So it's a pretty convenient way of sort of doing it more organically and not having to manage everybody individually. And then finally, there's join by link. So if I copy content from one team, paste it into another team, and somebody clicks on it and they don't have access to that first team, well, then they can join via that link. And there's a whole process for doing that. That makes it a lot easier. Finally, managing. So after a team really has outlived its usefulness, which sometimes happens, then you want to be able to archive that information. It may have been like you produced a whole bunch of things, maybe it was building up to a particular product launch or something along those lines, and you don't really need people participating in that anymore. So you can archive it up. It creates a read-only version of the team, doesn't delete any of the data, and then just kind of parks it off and takes it off of everybody's sort of teams and channels list. You can go visit it, you can go look at it, you can go access that information again, you can rehydrate it if you need to, so it's always there at your fingertips, which is cool. So you don't lose any of that institutional knowledge. And then there's expiry too, which is a really critical feature, I think, especially in IT organizations where there's a large proliferation of teams. This allows you to assign an expiration date on a particular team. And this means that as that date comes closer and closer, then the owner of that team will be notified. If they don't do anything, then it'll be soft deleted for a period of 30 days. And if they still don't do anything, then it just gets wiped out. And so it's a great way of just cleaning up sort of the leftover teams that maybe have gone idle, because that happens sometimes as well. So the last thing I want to touch on is performance. And we've received a lot of feedback over this year about what our performance has been and what we've been doing to address it. Our team has been laser focused on trying to build out these metrics and making sure that our performance is increasing and improving like quarter to quarter to quarter. So this is something that we expect huge gains on in the coming years, or coming year at least, I would say. And we've already seen, just since the beginning of this year, a 33% improvement over our core metrics. So things like switching between channels, switching between teams, starting up the application, all these are getting faster and faster, and we expect it just to become better and better over time. So this is a big priority for us, and we're really focused on it. Great. So Angela's going to talk about how Teams is a platform.
Like we mentioned earlier, we want Teams to be a powerful tool for all workers, whether you're in the C-suite, you're an individual contributor, or you're a first-line worker. My parents actually own a small teriyaki restaurant, and growing up, I often worked there on the weekends. And for any of you that have worked in the food industry, there's no pressure like working with hungry people. So first-line workers are often the first people to engage with the customer, the first to interact with your product or your service. They're essentially the brand of your company. But oftentimes, these first-line workers experience disconnected technologies, they're fragmented, they're broken. They're actually using chat consumer apps to get things done, and this is a big problem. So we want to help fix this. We introduced a couple of new features for Teams, one of them being Home. And this is in a mobile experience where you can see your schedule, you can clock in and out of shifts, all right from your phone. Super easy and super accessible. Also, you can receive really important notifications. Imagine if you were owning a chain of grocery stores and you got an E. coli recall. Now, instantly, you can message all your employees so that they can go and take care of that and take out the contaminated food. So super important and super great feature. In shifts, you can also, for first-line managers, they can actually see what's going on, see their team schedules, all again right from mobile. Super convenient. They can also see if they have gaps in the schedule and alert their workers to see if anyone can pick those up. So these combinations of features will be available for everyone in Teams very soon. Another area we are trying to invest more heavily in are industry-specific verticals, starting with healthcare. Healthcare is something like a scenario we can all relate to. You no longer have just one doctor. You have specialized doctors, you have staff, you have nurses, all who need to coordinate and share your information in a safe and secure manner. And so yesterday we announced a private care coordination that will allow your electronic health records to connect with Microsoft 365 extensible platform. So you can have all that information shared in a shared securely that you would expect in a compliant way as well. We want to use this technology to really help clinicians and help that team of staff to make sure that your information is shared securely and that we are providing the best experience so that you can get the best care possible. So I'm going to invite Mark to just come back as we conclude here and say, we've shared a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
Microsoft Teams is ready. We want to tell you there's no need to wait. Definitely try it out and keep giving us your feedback.
Absolutely. And we really value your feedback. We like to hear what you're thinking and what you're experiencing with Teams. And we look forward to what's coming in the following year. So
we have a lot of sessions still this week. So we've just highlighted a few, but please go and check out some of these other sessions that dive deeper. Again, we've only shown you a piece of a tip of the iceberg. Lastly, I was thinking, like, as I was telling you guys, that we do want to make Teams for each and everybody, even for professors who might work from home. Oh, audio.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh. Let's see.
Can we get the audio back on this?
Awesome.
There we go.
Farm of those candles. Pardon me. My apologies.
Thank you. Have a great Ignite.